I'm the product manager at Spinlock for the life jacket range, and yeah, it's great to be elected as winner for this year. To give you a little sort of history, those of you who know the Spinlock brand, we've been making life jackets now for over 10 years. When we've got involved, we've always taken a sort of fairly fresh approach on the sort of design and the wearability and the look of all our life jackets. And we're really now starting to focus on some of the internals about can we improve the, what life jackets actually do and improve the chances of survival if you ever are in a situation where you have to use a product. And about 3 or 4 years ago, we developed our own life jacket light for use on our products. And at the time, we did a lot of work with LEDs and sort of diffusion of light to make sure that the light is as intense and as bright as possible for you to see it. Life jackets have to have an approved, a certified, SOLAS-approved life jacket light within them. And so we did a lot of development on this product and sort of figured out how to make it as bright as we could. And it's a very intense, flashing light. But whilst we were doing that, and this was a number of years ago, we sort of also realized that with an LED light, you have a very small, bright light, when in fact, you also have within the life jacket a big option for diffusing the light. We use the lens on the LEDs to sort of diffuse the light to make it appear big. And during our testing, we're looking that, in effect, the bright yellow life jacket could do the same job. So obviously it falls slightly outside of the standards for life jacket lights. We never get through the sort of approval testing that we need to do it. But as a supplementary source, we figured that if we could light up the whole life jacket, you suddenly get a much bigger visible object for somebody to focus on if you're trying to find a man overboard. So we went through sort of several incarnations. We tested different sort of options, and we've come up with a solution which we've designed ideally to be cost effective. We're including it in our life jackets. Within all our sort of top-end life jackets, we're selling it as a retail item. We've designed it not to be sort of prohibitively expensive or a big upgrade for your product, but to have a really big impact. And you can see from the photos there that suddenly, making the most of this big yellow area you've got adds a lot to the chances of finding somebody. One of the other interesting things we found doing testing of this is quite interesting. We have to throw somebody in and then drive away from them till we can't see them and then come back. And what we found is that over a distance, obviously, a small intense light works very well, but it's very hard to judge the actual distance that casualty might be from you. And when you couple it with a sort of secondary source and using the yellow light, you get a real sort of distance perspective. So it's much easier to say, yeah, the casualty will be 100 yards away or 200 yards away. It gives you that sort of sense of distance much better. And then this product really comes into its own. As you get closer, you get much more visibility. You can see what you're going for. You can see where lifting loops and things are. You've got the access to actually get hold of people. You can see if the casualty is actually still moving or if they're actually, if they can help themselves a little bit. So just adding the light onto the situation really helps as you get closer to them. And then the other thing we found when I'm talking to some of the test subjects we threw in is that it's actually very reassuring for the subject to feel that they are being very bright and illuminated in the water. You really feel that you're doing something to be seen. And it's something which a lot of the guys who do research into sort of survival situations and things like that is that the sort of psychological impact of feeling that you're doing something to help yourself, to save yourself, has a huge impact on your chances of survival. There's a lot of stories where people have sort of given up and then things end nastily, but it's those that all feel that there's a chance something's going to happen. And this, again, sort of adds to that feeling as you're doing as much as you can to feel that you're being seen, and that if a boat's coming back to get you or trying to find you, that there's a good chance for that. So that's a sort of little sideline of something which we hadn't fully appreciated at the time we were developing it. In terms of the actual product itself, as I said, we've tried to keep it as simple as possible to keep it as a cost-effective piece. It's stuck to the bottom of the life jacket. We did at the time look about putting lights inside and things like that, but obviously a lot of these things do get used, get tested, and the option to be able to remove them, replace them, update them means that it's much better to be on the outside of the product. We work quite closely on developing this little bit of the electronics, making sure that they're not too sensitive. Life jackets do get damp and wet over time. We don't want this thing to be flashing away when the jacket's not in the water. So there's some detail gone into the electronic side of it. And also things like the battery life. We use an LED, and we say it has a sort of minimum 2 hours full intensity. Obviously, the light does go on for a very long time, but the intensity does drop off. And we found quite a lot of tests. We did a lot of testing on different water temperatures, battery life, flash rates, flash intensities, to really find a sort of level which we feel gives a the optimal visibility without and battery life and also cost to sort of try and find that point where we feel it all sort of meets. And then also, again, sticking things to bladders isn't actually as easy as it might seem. These fabrics have got a little coating on them. They get damp, they get crushed up. Life jackets spend most of their life packed inside a cover. So we did a lot of work with a supplier on the film and the sticker that we use and the adhesive that uses on the jacket. And we say when we stick these on them, it's good to leave the glue to actually cure for a number of hours before the product's actually packed up in there as well, because you need to ensure that it doesn't peel off when the jacket inflates over there. So yeah, it's been a great, neat little product for us. If anyone wants to see it in action on the stand, we've got some demonstration units over there. It's a bit bright to show it here, but you can get the idea on the screen. But yes, come and see us in Hall 3.